Oh my gosh. It's Ruth Linder, everyone. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
Well, I feel like I see you all the time, but yet here we are talking to each other via TV screens. This is exciting.
It is
Um,
exciting.
I I am been looking forward to this because I need some help. I need
Okay.
your help to tell me. I have been, through Team Pack a Lunch, so blowing up this Linder Challenge, Linder Challenge, Linder Challenge. It's on all of our literature. It's on everything. I know a little bit about the Linder Challenge, but I thought I'd bring on the expert to help me tell everybody what the Linder Challenge is.
That's good. I'm very glad that you asked, Jay. In 2024, at the very last weeks of summer, my kids and I decided that we were going to go visit all 15 branches of the libraries in one day. This was special to us because prior to that momentous day, we had done what we called library hopping. And I'd say, hey, what do y'all want to do today? And they'd say, let's library hop. And so we would go drive to Zachary, or we would go drive to a Bluebonnet branch. And, we would learn about what was unique about all of those different branches. We also would meet the librarians, we would meet different people. And as important as all of the books are, as important as like all, the entire experiences, I think that the most important part about it was that we, through this momentous act, we are building community because we are, getting to know other people in other places, other parts of the parish. And, that some of those places aren't places that we would necessarily go if we didn't have a reason to go out that way. And I asked my kids, hey, what if we went to all branches of the library in one day? And they were like, yes. I'm like, okay. So we made a map. We planned out a route. My daughter is big into reading, like reading. She's already read 5 or 6 books this summer since Friday. Like, not joking.
Friday,
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
She's on summer break.
No, she's already read, I think, 5 or 6. I took her to the library at 8 o'clock tonight because we already went to the other library earlier today, and she already read through all of those books. And we're talking big books, not just like little bitty things. So
She is one of my favorite lenders.
I know. And my son Miles, he is the adventurous one, and so he was like, I'm down for all this adventure. We all have special shirts. And so Iris's shirt says, I'm just here for the books. Miles's shirt says, I'm just here for the snacks. And my shirt says, I'm the chauffeur. But through this entire experience, we have had a lot of fun. And in addition to the books, in addition to the community, it was quality time with my family. And as the kids get older and, they're getting busier and stuff, you can't take that back. You can't get that time back. And it is invaluable. It is precious. And it has been such a wonderful experience. So,
Now, help me out. The 15 parish libraries through Baton Rouge Parish or
mhm,
St. Baton Rouge Parish,
yes,
those are all free, correct?
yes, that is correct.
There's
Um,
no charge to go use them. There's no charge to go in and rent anything. There,
right.
it's free. It's legitimately family entertainment
Yes.
that is free to the community in 15 different locations in Baton Rouge Parish.
Yes, and it's all that, they're all, kind of spaced out. And, the way that they've got it all planned, there's a library branch not too far from anywhere that you go. And when we did our first Linder Challenge, which was at the end of July 2024, the library caught wind of this as we were around like sixth or seventh branch, and they're like, these people are doing something. And so they called each other up and they were all talking to each other. And so by the time we got to Zachary, the Zachary librarian's like, we've been waiting for you. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. And so then they all want to take pictures and they all wanted to, talk to us and everything, which was really neat. And so after we finished our day, the um the PR lady contacted me and she's like, we'd like to meet with y'all. So they interviewed us, talked to us, and I told them all of our experiences that we've had with the library. I mean, I've been bringing my kids there since they were babies. And we've done so many programs, so many different things. I mean, the earliest things were, the story time and just, little 1-year-olds and toddlers run around dancing, and it was socialization for them, but it was also getting them exposure to books. My
So the
kids,
library has more to do than just books.
yes, yes. And so we also have done a lot of different programs. We went outside in the parking lot at Jones Creek Library and we did ice blocks when Iris was 2 years old. And the librarian had made all of these blocks of ice. She put food coloring in them and they played with them on the sidewalk. And then when we came home, I was like, that was great. And so we did that for years. And I would put little toys in them and they would have to, they were trying to like manipulate it and make the ice melt so they could get the toys out. That we had little sticks and whatever we would like hammer into it to try to get the stuff out. And I didn't think of that on my own. I got that idea from the librarian at the library. We have also seen many times the Baton Rouge Police Department mounted patrol. They bring their horses, go stand out in the parking lot in the summertime of the library. They talk to us and, teach us all the different things that the horses do in terms of, like crowd control at the LSU football games and, things like that. We've had Daisy the reading pig, who comes from Farmer Minor. He lives in like Kentucky or something, and he goes to all these different branches of the libraries. He brings his pig to the library. The kids get to pet the pig. He also has a pug, a dog, and he brings him his little cage. I'm telling you, I'm like reliving my entire parenting. I love it. And we have also done like family bingo. We have done Miles loves scavenger hunts, and they have every library branch has scavenger hunts. They have guessing games, and these are all things in addition to just the books. But with the books, they also have like real books, which Iris loves. But for the people, there are some people who can't get to the library for mobility or they don't have a car or whatever. They have the Libby app and they can, through their iPad for free with the library card, they get on there and there's thousands of books that they can just read without ever having to even go to the library if they can't or if they don't want to. And,
I
some
mean,
people.
in a day and age where things are rising, things are costing so much more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that this library system that you guys have in Baton Rouge Parish is overlooked. I mean, what an amazing opportunity to have your kids put down their devices,
Yeah.
and then go read a book, go on an adventure, go do some of these things like that, and then to have the mobility aspect, which
It's big,
us
big for us,
is
right?
so
Right.
important for us. All of the libraries I've been to, a couple of them events that you've had there, all of them are very wide open and accessible. But I mean, if you can't get there for whatever reason, you can download all that stuff for free on the app. That's incredible.
No, it's great. I mean, all you need is a library card and you just bring your paperwork. If you're a resident of East Baton Rouge Parish, you show up and they'll, take care of you. Other things that we've had over the years, we've had when Iris was in first grade, she was a part of the mini maker fair and she demonstrated how to make necklaces that she sold there, and she sold them for $3 a piece. And she had this little business for couple of years and she demonstrated. She was so cute, showing everybody how you do it. And then, how could you resist a little 7-year-old girl who's selling $3 necklaces? She, made out like a champ. But at the same time as that was happening, there were all these demonstrations throughout the whole entire library. It was huge. We never even saw all of it because there was so much to see. There were demonstrations of music, there was demonstrations of how to make things, robotics, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was awesome. Recently, we had the Baker Fair where that was the first time of them ever doing that. And they had multiple hundreds of people waiting at the door for when it started. Like it was like they were lined up ready to go. And it was like a giant bake sale. And there were, like more of home bakers and then there were more fancy bakers and everybody loved it. But those are just more things that aren't books. They're more things that thinking outside the box, which I think that I do well. And I appreciate when other people think outside the box. And I think that East Baton Rouge Parish Library does a really great job of providing a lot of opportunities for everything more than just books. But, we do love books because another personal experience. But I think in 2021 in the summer, we have lots of adventures, and we started around the world camp. And I won't tell you the entire deal, but we studied a different country every day of the week. So we would study like France and Greece and Italy, and each day of the week we would go to the library and we would research about this country, like what's unique or what's special about this country. And one of the most memorable things I can think of is France. And one of the things from France is that they are the originators of Braille, where people who are visually impaired use Braille to be able to read. So we went to the library. They've got Braille books, and we learned all about that. And now, when we're out and about, it's like, oh, look, there's Braille. And, and my kids will say that came from France. Like, they know. And I don't know if they would know that otherwise.
I did not know that.
So, but those type of experiences that I just am a creative person. So I come up with these ideas, but the library has been instrumental in getting all my ideas to come into fruition and come to life. And it's been really awesome. So back to our Linder challenge.
Yeah, back to Linder challenge. So they tell me that there's 2 routes.
Yeah,
and I don't understand what that means. Does that mean that you go a different direction, or what? Explain to me what the 2 different routes are.
That is a great question. So there are 2 ways that you can do the Linder challenge, and one of them is the heroic act of literacy, and that is when you visit all 15 branches in one day. And it's over 100 miles, to do it.
Wow.
And if you do it the way we did it, that it also involves stopping for lunch and stopping for coffee, because I'm a mom and we need those things. But it's so much fun. And Iris gets books at the first branch and she returns it around the 6th branch because she read it in the car. Well, and so the other option is the scenic route. And the scenic route is when you visit all 15 branches during the course of the entire summer. So you can do 1 or 2 today and do 1 or 2 next week. And we've done all of these. We've done the Linder challenge now since the end of July 24. I think we've done it 5 or 6 times. And, we'll be doing it again very soon, just because I asked my kids, hey, what do y'all want to do today? I guess we should do the Linder challenge. I'm like, why not? So.
Yeah, the all in one day, that would take you said it's over 100 miles, which is incredible. 8 hours or so.
Yes, it took us about
8
hours, because I believe when we did it, we started at the Bluebonnet branch and they opened at 9 o'clock. So we were waiting outside their door at 8:55, waiting for them to open. And then we finished at Jones Creek. We had a route to make it kind of, make sense. And we started close to our house in one direction and then ended at the other branch that's closest to our house. And we ended at about 5 o'clock in the evening, and it was, it was exciting. Like, it really, I'm pumped up. And, but, we have a great songs in the car, and we're singing songs from Hamilton, and we're singing songs from Carrie Underwood, and just, enjoying our time together. And then, of course, you have to document it. So you go and take a picture in front of each branch. So, because
doesn't count if you don't take a picture.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, did it really happen? But, with many branches in the parish, we're on a first name basis with the librarians. And now, we love it.
Is there a reward for doing all of them in a day or in a season? Because it's a good opportunity for us to talk about when it runs through. But they told me that if you did it between June 1st and August 15th, which is basically the entire summer, and that is the perfect opportunity. I'm hearing the summer slide, as an educator, and so are you. That seems to become a much more increasingly popular term. I don't remember it when I was in school, but from now on, it seems to have encroached our vocabulary a lot more in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The summer slide, this is a perfect opportunity to offset that summer slide, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot going on. And they do have like, there's a passport type picture that, or I forgot what they called it, but it has a picture of each branch on this big piece of paper. You bring that to each branch, you have them, they have a unique stamp for each library branch. They stamp it at each one. And then when you're done, I think they've changed it up a little bit this year, but they have a reward. And then in December, they honor all of the people who have completed the challenge. They call it Linder Completionists. And there's a Linder Fete celebration in the library. This past year was the first year that we did it, but it was really fun.
Fantastic. I enjoyed that event very, very much. It's
I
still one of
mean,
the highlights from last year.
again, but actually that makes me think about some more cool library stuff to tell you about, because at the Linder Fete, we're sewing capes. And you think, okay, well, sewing doesn't happen at the library, but it does, because in many branches in Baton Rouge, or in East Baton Rouge, they have a maker space, and the maker spaces contain sewing machines. They contain laser cutters, they contain 3D printers, and they contain like Cricut machines that you can like make t-shirts and different stuff. And we
At
personally have
all the
used it.
branches?
No, it's about 6 different ones. And
Right.
like the main branch has a very big maker space. River Center has a very big maker space. And I know some of the other branches do too. And they have like a badging class where you can actually take lessons. They'll teach you how to use the things. And then once you pass the test, once you've shown them that you are able to use these machines, then you can go there anytime you want and say, hey, today I need to cut out this badge. Like you could go make a medal for a race if you wanted to out of this, wooden laser cutter thing. And over this a few weeks ago, Iris went to a class there and she made like this little keychain. It was completely free. You just sign up on their website. And my husband went with her, and he was there. He was there emotionally supporting, but he could have participated as well. It, some of the things have different ages, but if it's teen on up, or if it's, adults or whatever, there's really something to do for everybody. They do have sewing machines in those maker spaces, but at some of the branches, they have crocheting clubs where people get together and they crochet. Iris has gone to those before. And another thing that I think is cool is that some of these crocheting groups and some of these crafting groups get together and they make things for less fortunate people. So they're making like bags and different things that they can give to people in need. And it's fun, it's community, it's, friendship and fellowship, but they're also doing good for the community. And this is all taking place at the libraries.
And people want to know why, you know, me, you, Tiffany, and everybody who surrounds themselves with Team Back Lunch wants to know why the Linder Challenge is so important to us. Their values align with ours so much, right? The ability to give back to the community, and definitely, trying to come up with creative things. I laugh because we have the Guardian Blanket program right now where we need sewers. We just did the cupcakes and cookies event with Miss Karina, which was, I know you've told me about several of the baking classes and cookie things. The Linder Fete last year was amazing. And as I look back on it right now, I don't remember buying a ticket. I don't remember having to pay anything. I remember having cookies and juice and movies and sewing capes and singing songs. And it was completely free. And it was probably 2 hours of the most fun that I've had. It cost me absolutely nothing. As you try to find stuff for your children to do this summer, this with high gas prices and the cost of traveling and all that stuff, this makes a lot of sense to find something here at home to do. And, it really, really is a smart idea. Now we talked about the Linder Challenge, but they also have like meeting rooms at these libraries, don't they? So that people can have events and different things like that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe you have one coming up soon.
We do. We are using one of the library meeting rooms very soon for our monthly Team Pack a Lunch painting party, and we have a lot of, differently abled people to come together. And I mean, all are welcome, but we are getting together and doing some painting and, instructed by yours truly and by my super creative daughter. I heard there's going to be some sweet treats led by Mr. Linder there this time. Yes, I haven't told you that yet.
Also my favorite Linder. Also my favorite Linder.
So, I asked the library if we could use one of their rooms, and they said, sure. I know that different groups meet there, sometimes like neighborhoods or HOA groups have meetings there. And I'm sure other like nonprofits and stuff have meetings as well.
Yeah, and as a the guy running one of those nonprofits right now, we're always looking for event spaces, and really the libraries never really do pop into my mind. And here that is such a beautiful resource that's just sitting there, in Baton Rouge Parish, that could be taken opportunity of. To go back to your painting for painting for all of y'all. We have done 4 of those now, all led by you and Iris. Every single one of them is successful. And probably the most exciting part of it is the fact that we actually get to bring this to Baton Rouge Parish. That is probably one of the more exciting parts of it for me, because certainly I love my New Orleans area, and I love having my Ruth and Iris come down and lead the parties. But we have a whole host of families across the region that we would like to bring these opportunities to, and I am super excited about bringing it to that. And I can't be gracious enough to thank the Baton Rouge Parish Library for offering us that opportunity, because I think it's going to be an incredible thing. That going forward, I don't see why we don't keep it on the calendar. But tell me, now that is what, June 7th? And that'll be what, 2:30 to 5:30, right? Sunday afternoon. So that's family time.
Right.
It's perfect after church. It's perfect after lunch. You kind of come out, you get out of the heat, and you'll come in, and certainly there's an admission fee or something, right, Ruth?
No. You know that we are taking care of business. The library is, graciously allowing us to attend. All I did was send an email, and they said they would be happy to accommodate us. And we're very thankful for that and very appreciative. I actually checked out the space today. We took a trip over there to make sure that, we would have enough room and everything. And I think we're going to be just great. I'm excited and looking forward to that.
And then we have, now, we have a business that's coming up that we need to take care of, right? And it's something that you feel extremely passionate about, and that is a very controversial millage renewal. That millage renewal will come up, or it's basically an extension, is it not? It's already something that's already in place, right? So residents of Baton Rouge Parish, which I'm not, have already been paying this rolled into their home exemption. I'm guessing their taxes that they already pay throughout the year. And taxes are such a negative word, but it's already embedded into their current homeowners exemptions, right? I mean, that's already in place now for the last, 10 to 20 years?
So it was voted upon in 2015. So we've been paying this 10 mil since 2015. And it is actually going to be reduced to 9.5 mil. So it's a continuation, but it's actually a little bit cheaper than what we've been paying. And I think the reason that this whole thing is, I would say confusing, it's, controversial, but more confusing, is because in November of 2025, the parish did the Thrive Act. And so people had to vote on the Thrive Act. And in the Thrive Act, they had money that was going to be used for library, used for other stuff, and it was not a dedicated tax to the library. And it did not pass because it wasn't clear, it wasn't concise, and quite frankly, people were just like, I don't want to just put my money out there if I don't know where it's going. And Agree. So they went back to the drawing board, and it is now a dedicated tax, but it's a continuation of what is already there. And um it's just, it's invaluable to keep going all the good stuff that we're doing. Our library system is clearly, I've not been to all of them, but it is top in the state. Like, it is so good with all of the programs that we have and all the books and everything. And I read earlier when I was, doing some research and everything, that for 2025, all of the things that were checked out from the library. So we're talking books, we're talking DVDs. They also have board games, which is really awesome. You can check out tons of different board games. We have checked out lots of new things that, try it before you buy it. And you're like, I don't really like this game, or this game's awesome. Here, let me add it to cart on Amazon, But if
And
you
why buy it when you play it 4 or 5
right,
times and then throw it
exactly.
on the shelf? It doesn't seem like a real use of valuable resources for everything, plastic, cardboard, and everything,
Right.
and just clutter in the
Which is
house.
true.
Then
Which
you
is
can
true.
go rent it,
Mhm.
borrow it for the amount of times that you're going to
Yeah.
play it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's genius.
Yeah.
That's
No,
genius.
and they're very careful to make sure all the pieces get back, so you're not checking it out and then, oh man, I need another piece to play checkers, or
And
whatever.
Connect 4 because you don't have 4 pieces. Got it. Thanks, Chris Pico. I'm bad
We
at
know
Connect 4.
we know that you're the best, Mr. Che. It's okay. It's okay. But if you added up all of the things that were checked out in 2025 from the library, the cost would be $90 million worth of stuff. That is what I read from the website today. So all the books, all the DVDs, all the things is the value of that, for based on how many times it was checked out, by how many people it was checked out, comes to be a humongous amount. And that's an amount that, was already in place. And so,
And again, all of Baton Rouge Parish is already paying for this. It's not like
correct.
this is something new.
Correct.
This is not like it's going to be something that's going to be in addition to,
Right.
we're already struggling for this, that, and the other, where we're going to come up with this money.
Right.
This has already been in place, and it's just a continuation.
And
I've read the business model, or the investment plan, I should say, on the renewal millage, and it's another 10-year layout, right? It doesn't come back up for 10 years, and it covers everything from certain maintenances that need to be done on these buildings, to continuously hiring all of the staff and all of the programs that we've discussed here today, right? I mean, basically all of the free programming, the free checking out, the online, stuff, the board games, all of that, meeting spaces, everything is incorporated because of the funding of this millage. So it's a necessity. It's vital for the survival or the continuation of the services that the current Baton Rouge Parish Library is providing. That millage renewal is imperative to have for them. It is how they function. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I mean, voting for this, I mean, no one has extra money. I completely agree. And, people being skeptical, oh, we pay enough already. But this is so important for education, important for the future of the kids. And the kids grow up and they become the adults, and that's the future right there. And they need access to be able to learn things. They need access to be able to do things. There are tutoring rooms that people get tutored in. There's actually a whole section of people who will help you get jobs. They help you fill out job applications. They help you, find jobs and say, oh, I'm, qualified for this, or I'm not, or, and those are all just, investments in moving forward in the future. And, again, that's why it's so important. It's not just books. Books are a huge part of it, but there are so many other huge parts as well. And if I believe that everybody should vote yes, because I love the library, and I find obviously so many important things with it. We went to 2 libraries today, and when we went around lunchtime, they had moms and kids out there eating lunch in the terrace area, and they have this big sprinkler, or it's a sprinkler, and some of the kids have their swimsuits on, and they're and I did that with my kids when they were 3 years old, and that's an easy, an easy fun outing for them. And then you go home and it's nap time. It's like, okay, this was great. But if the tax does not pass, if it gets a no, the things that are going to be directly affected are going to be library hours are going to be drastically cut across the branches. And that's, making the library less accessible, because some people might say, I can only go to the library when I get off of work at 5 o'clock. But if the library closes at 5 o'clock, then you can't go. Or, it opens at 12, but your only time that you can go is in the morning, or if it's not open on the weekends, that, all the working parents, of which I am one. And, that just makes things a lot more difficult. But another thing that is, in question would be the Libby and the ebook, that access to the online platform is said to be affected. So those people who would not be able to get to the library, or who just enjoy reading books on their iPads, that service would be interrupted or changed in some way. Services.
And it's all associated with cost, right? If you don't have the revenue that comes in, then obviously you can't produce the same sort of output that you've currently been producing. So, the things that we have talked about today that are positives about what the library does for the community are ultimately going to be affected if the community says no, they don't want that millage renewal to continue. So, for people who may not be using these services, now is an opportunity to look at it, understand what this millage renewal will do, and then utilize the services that they've been currently maybe not knowing about or just forgotten about because their kids are grown up or something like that, to get back into it, maybe with their grandkids and stuff like that. Am I wrong?
No, that's exactly it. And, some people would say, oh, I don't use it, so it doesn't really affect me. But all of it affects everybody, because we're all part of the community together. We're all part of this parish together. And it's setting us up for success in the future. And like you did say, some people might not know about all these things. So that's why I am happy to, if anybody wants to talk to me, I will talk obviously all day long about this. I have a whole list next to me.
Well, we're going to certainly put all of your information on the screen, and you'll be able to contact you directly. Now that millage renewal is coming up on an election ballot on what day?
Yes. So the election is on June 27th.
And it's 1 month.
It's coming up very soon. And, we need everybody to get out and vote yes. To not to, say, oh, well, somebody else is going to vote. I'm fine, like drive to your voting place and go do that. But if you can't get there, or if you're going to be out of town or something like that, they have early voting, and early voting begins on June 12th. So that's, even sooner. It is a simple, dedicated millage. And the dedicated part is important because it is your money, what you're paying is going to the library. It's not going to be, a little bit's going to be put over here. And that was what was confusing prior to this. But it's dedicated. It's there for the library, and that's where it needs to be. And that's where it needs to stay. And that's where it's going to stay.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like the leadership of the failed program from the last time has regrouped and refocused, and that's good, because many people are turned off in politics about the misdirection in politics, but this doesn't sound like it. This sounds like it's pretty straightforward and going directly to what it is that they're saying for. And of course, you can find their master plan at live in all of the services, right? I mean, all of these functions, everything can be found online.
You can find everything at www.ebrpl.com. That's East Baton Rouge Parish Library.com. If you go on their website, right in the front, right on the homepage is all the information about the upcoming election. But then it also has the hours of every single branch. It has the addresses. So if you're doing the Linder Challenge, you know exactly where to go. There's also a calendar that shows you click on it. It has it organized by day, and it'll say, May 27th. It'll say every event that is happening in the parish on that day. And so it'll say, like, we're making puppets at this branch, and it'll tell you that. And it'll say, like, Iris did a Harry Potter escape room last summer, and it was hugely successful. It was so much fun. And people
At
pay
the
big,
library?
yes, people pay big bucks to go to escape rooms, and they had it all set up. And, she and her friend, they're big Harry Potter fans. And so they had to, answer the clues and stuff, but it was really fun. And I would not have known about it if I wouldn't check the calendar. I'll be checking the calendar tomorrow to see if there's anything that strikes our fancy. And, like there's different drama groups that come and perform. There's music groups. Lady Chops, she's this awesome percussionist who comes. We've got Harvey Rabbit and Friends. My kids loved that. They're a couple with some puppets, and they're really entertaining. All the different things like the mounted patrol and the ice blocks, like all that stuff. I found that on the library calendar on the website.
And so early voting starts June 12th.
Yes.
The election is June 27th.
Yes.
The millage renewal will just be a simple yes vote to keep it in place. Everything goes about the business. We don't have to talk about this for another 10 years, except for using all of the awesomeness of the Baton Rouge Parish
People need
libraries.
to get out and use it. I saw a statistic that said in 2025, you want to know how many people went to the library? Now, the Linders might have accounted for many of these numbers just because we go to the library a lot.
Sounds like about half.
1,736,619 visitors to the libraries in 2025. That's a lot. 1.7 million people.
Incredible. For basically free entertainment and free programming for people who, that don't even necessarily think about that as a Sunday afternoon entertainment. It's incredible. Or a weekday, or like you said, summertime. It's a perfect opportunity. Ruth, we've got painting for all y'all June 7th at the Goodwood branch. That'll be 2:30 to 5:30. We have the Linder challenge that starts June 1st. That runs through August 15th.
Yep.
That will kick off, and the branches will have the little passport.
Yep.
I know for a fact that if you go to the East Baton Rouge Parish live website, you will see, if you type in the search bar Linder challenge, it's been updated. And it shows you the map where everybody's at, and certainly gives you the explanations of the one day versus the scenic route. And then you said there's going to be a reward. We can't wait to see what those rewards are. We know we're going to talk about the Linder FET after all of the completion is finished. I think what we're going to go ahead and do is probably create a spreadsheet and a Google Doc that will allow people to sign up and say, the things that they liked about it, which route that they did, maybe post some pictures and stuff like that. And we'll be posting them on our website. I know you'll be posting them on your social pages. And we'll continue to support the Linder Challenge because the arts and reading are important for us. There's a lot of times our athletes don't necessarily have the physical abilities, but are mentally just as sharp as anybody else. And this gives them an opportunity to use some of their benefits where some of their advantages, outweigh some of their disadvantages. So these opportunities are very important, and we want to make sure that we continue to promote those. Is there anything other than moving to Baton Rouge and Parish and voting that I can do for you, or we can do for you, Ruth? Is there anything that we can continue to do? Maybe is there signs that we can pick up and stick in our yards?
There are signs at the main branch library that have, like supporters of the library. They have those signs, and then they also have signs about the voting that is taking place. And, I think the most important thing is to get the word out, the proper information, because I think, some people are thinking it's going to add more money onto their property taxes, and it's not. It's already there. And I know everything is expensive in life. I know. But if there's something that I'm going to have to spend my money on. This is something that I feel is so important and definitely worth it for everything I've already said and like 10,000 other reasons.
Yeah, I think a investment into your own property that is then utilized to sustain the community is a good thing, no matter what it looks like. So that's a good thing. Those signs can be picked up at just about most of the larger branches or all of
Yes.
the branches. And this is a Baton Rouge parish wide vote, right? If you live
Yes.
in someplace else outside of the state, you have no effect on it.
Right.
This is strictly Baton Rouge Parish. So we need as many Baton Rouge Parish voters to get out and say yes to the millage renewal so that we continue these services. So that, to be quite frankly, we want more painting for all y'all parties in Baton Rouge. So and we want moms to be able to provide those opportunities for their kids and seniors to have a place to go, and people who are looking for help with jobs and just free entertainment to do those things. Makes perfect sense to me, Ruth Linder.
I agree.
Ruth, thank you. I can't thank you enough for all that you do for us. You are a runner. You are a advocate for what we always do. You are constantly there. Your children follow in your footsteps, incredibly beautiful children that are talented and gifted and just as sweet as they possibly can, a lot like their mom and their dad. And they show up for everything, and they're always dependable, and they're always respectful. Um, it's no wonder, they're like that when I see the character that you always display and the smiles you bring and you provide to everybody at all of our events. Even when I'm having a bad day, I always look for you rainbows and sunshines to cheer me up. I thank you, Ruth. I thank
I
you
thank you.
for being more than just the crazy library lady. But I thank you for everything that you do. Mom, teacher, marathon runner, advocate of special needs, advocate of arts and music, advocate of a whole host of things. Ruth Linder, may all of your Linder challenges this summer go without any problems. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jay. You're amazing. Thank you for all of your support.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. So